Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a hard look at World of Warcraft Midnight. This is being billed as part 2 of the Worldsoul Saga, but honestly, it feels less like a chapter and more like an intermission. We're going to cover the big features Blizzard is selling us, why the hype doesn't match the reality, and why early access might actually be the real launch date. And we'll talk about housing. Yes, it's finally here, but is it also the beginning of Warlords of Draenor's Garrison 2.0? Let's get into it. First impressions matter, and Blizzard knows this. Compare Anduin's cinematic from The War Within. The level of detail in his face, the weight of emotion, versus the new expansion cinematic. Landrin and Lorthamar look stiff. Their models are flatter, almost uncanny. It's polished enough for a trailer, sure, but are we seeing Blizzard put resources into the game itself, or just into hype rules? If the expansion feels mid, the cinematic should have been the place to prove otherwise. Instead, it already feels like we've stepped down a tier in quality. So, here's what we're getting with Midnight. We're getting housing, a simple and advanced form, a new Devourer spec for Demon Hunters, the Haranir as a playable allied race, a new prey system, which is like a nemesis system for elite monster hunts, and 4 zones, 2 revamped from the Burning Crusade, Eversong Zul'Aman, plus Haranir, which, if we're being honest, I think they were supposed to put in the War Within, but they ran out of time, and so they just repackaged it for Midnight, and the new Void Storm. It's fine, but where's the new class? Where's a new race? The sweeping systems overhaul? For a second act of a supposedly massive saga, it feels small. A mid-season filler episode when fans were promised a blockbuster trilogy. Now, let's talk about what I think the biggest problem is with Midnight. It's the early access. The Epic Edition pre-order comes with 3 days of early access, but here's the truth, that's not really early. It's the real launch. Day 1. Everything else is just late. Blizzard frames this as a server stability measure, spreading out logins, but make no mistake. This is a paid upgrade to the true release date, and it's not just WoW. More and more games are pulling this move, pay extra, play early. It's become industry standard. And are we honestly going to sit here and believe that a multi-billion-dollar company like Microsoft and Blizzard could not handle the amount of players spread across servers all logging in on the same day? I think it's pretty hyperbolous for them to say that. And honestly, it's wrong to do this to your fan base. These are players who've stuck with WoW for nearly 2 decades, and now they're being asked to fork out more just to experience the game when it actually launches. Look at the community reactions. People justifying the spend because they know they'll play anyway. This is loyalty being monetized. That's all it is. And once early access is normalized, you can never go back. They did it with the War Within. It was successful. People paid for it. Almost everyone did it. And they're doing it again because they know it works and people will pay it. If Midnight is truly a part of a saga, why does it already feel like it's being split into pieces and upsold to us? Now let's talk about housing. The feature WoW players have begged for since 2004. On paper, it sounds amazing. But here's the concern. When housing becomes the main feature, does it risk pulling players out of Azeroth itself? Instead of being in the world, running into others, we're going to be decorating walls, tinkering with furniture, and showing off instanced homes. We've seen this movie before. Warlords of Draenor's Garrisons. Remember how that expansion turned cities and zones into ghost towns? Everyone was sitting in their private little bases, cut off from the world. Blizzard swore they wouldn't repeat that mistake, but isn't this just Garrisons 2.0? And if we're honest, how long before Blizzard monetizes it? We already know that there's going to be bundles, and they've already added it as part of pre-order bonuses. But housing bundles on the shop, exclusive decor for $20, an auction house NPC in your home. But only if you buy the store upgrade. Don't laugh. It's not hypothetical. Blizzard already sold an auction house mount on the shop. Do we really think they'll stop short of selling vendors for your homes? It's not here at launch, but we know it's coming. And once housing is central, it'll become the perfect Blizzard cash generator. And now this is really where the disappointment sets in. This is supposed to be part 2 of the Worldsoul Saga. Remember when Chris Metzen came out on stage and he introduced the Worldsoul Saga about how it was going to be this epic three-part trilogy culminating in The Last Titan? But instead, Midnight feels more like an intermission instead of an escalation. 2 recycled zones. 3, honestly. Like I said, Haranir was supposed to be in the War Within, but it got scrapped or pushed because they ran out of time. A single spec for Demon Hunters, which I don't think anyone wants a mid-range Demon Hunter spec anyway. An allied race, and housing, which, risks splitting players away from the world. Where's the sense of urgency? The cliffhanger? The big leap forward? Midnight looks less like a continuation of a saga, and more like a breather patch being sold as a full expansion. Sure, it's shiny. Sure, it's packaged as a saga. But where's the substance? It's thinner than it should be, and players know it. So, World of Warcraft Midnight. Is it truly the next chapter in the Worldsoul Saga? Or just mid? Blizzard has given us housing, a couple of rehash zones, and some flashy cinematics, but they're also carving up launch day into an early access cash grab. And when your big new feature could pull players out of Azeroth and back into instance homes, you've got to wonder, are we heading straight back to Garrisons? For me, Midnight feels less like part 2 of an epic saga and more of a filler intermission. But what do you think? Is housing the dream come true, or the beginning of another Garrison-style mistake? Does early access feel fair, or like Blizzard selling us the real launch day? Are you pre-ordering or sitting this one out? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you agree, and subscribe if you want more critical breakdowns of WoW in the MMO space. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.